And almost like that's the way I know how to communicate. I just flashback in college when Daytimer, how many remember Daytimer? Dr. Franklin Covey, and came up, and students don't use Daytimer, and I got Daytimer as a student. I was so excited how it's gonna organize my dates, and just have more priorities. But all my everything or time organized, and I got the students together, and I was telling them how awesome this. And then the next question there was like, so how much commission is there for you to make? I said, what commission? So they couldn't believe that I was not a rep, I'm not a rep for EcoGen to sell them the power station or anything. I promise you that I would do the same exact thing, whether I got paid or not, that's secondary. I will do that with the same amount of passion because I'm a goodwill ambassador. I'm a goodwill ambassador of anything that any person, any product and stuff that I like from that perspective. So if I share something as an example, it's what I do, it's not to sell you, but as an example of, so I resonate with what Les shared yesterday, is that I almost, in a different way, said, I want to apologize to you first. I want to apologize if I say anything new. Okay. And I heard, because he said, I'm not here to teach you. You're very, very enlightened. And perhaps I'm going to remind you of some of the things that you stopped doing or you forgot or we need reinforcement. And maybe along the way, some of you, it may be one or two things that are fairly new. I'm going to skip completely about, it was in the slide, about myself. And my, every time, so that at least a good number of people here don't know me, so I'm going to share with a little bit of my background. And my two objectives is, as I said, my first objective is to add value. I know Peter subscribes to that. He is all this time in Vegas. He's bringing people like this group and making sure they're all having fun. So is it okay for the next few minutes we want to learn something, we have fun too? Yes. Yep. All in favor of having fun, say aye. Aye. All opposed. Motion's carried. The hardest part for this morning. And so my background is I started accidentally with my first mentor, with Anthony Robbins. And at that point in my life, I haven't seen a speaker that big. He was so profound, prolific, and the content was resonating with me so much. I saw him and I said, I want to master what he's teaching. I don't want to dabble in it, I want to master it. I said, what better way to master than to go work for him? He'll make sure I live it. And that was my whole motivation, not to make money, but to master what he's teaching. And long story short, I was on the road 48 weeks out of the year for almost a good part of a decade, speaking for Tony Robbins and all over the country. And by the way, how many of you have done Firewalk, have seen Tony live? You've seen Tony live, have done the Firewalk. How many of you have done Firewalk?
I've done the Firewalk, not Tony.
Yeah? Only 2 people have done the Firewalk. I'm just amazed. I do the stats of how many people have not done the Firewalk. I have done the Firewalk many, many times. I used to be 6'7". It's about overcoming fear. So he just created that as a metaphor. And I left Tony Robbins and got into the internet field back in '97, long before people knew how to spell email, and got with a company, and we took it in a short period of time from 0 to 2 billion in market cap with IPO. And I was pretty much set. I thought I was set financially, and until the stock market crashed, until the internet bubble burst. How many of you remember that? When the stock market crashed, I lost everything. I lost everything. And when the stock market crashed, I slept like a baby. Woke up every hour and cried. I made a killing. I made a killing in the stock market. I shot my broker. I felt like it. I gave him such a large portfolio that it dwindled it down to 0 practically. and minus because of how many of you understand what margin call is? Margin call. I was looking at zero like that. And late night, I can't fall asleep. And the gap was so, it was not a gap, it was an abyss. I had no idea how am I going to get out of that. And it's like, that's when you sometimes, no, I don't care how much of Tony Robbins training you have, I'm thinking that God, just give me the rope, get it over with. It's like, and here late night, I'm flipping through channels, and here comes an infomercial, and he goes, you can make money in real estate with no money, no credit. I said, I qualify. And he goes, I'm doing a free seminar. I said, I can afford it. What I didn't know, that it was free to get in, not free to get out. How many of you have been to that seminar? $30,000 later that I did not have. Here's my last credit card. My philosophy in life is, I'll trust you unless you give me reasons not to. I don't go and Google stuff, and it's a new point in time from starting today. And perhaps maybe it's a generation, I didn't go and Google you before I meet you and stuff. I saw that on TV infomercial, all these people stood up and said how they did real estate. Then I met them in person, and they're telling me in the seminar how they did it. And I said, it sounds very logical, and if all these people can do it, there's a proven track record. 7 out of 10 millionaires in the US, how do you think they made their millions? Real estate. I said, great. The reason it cost $30,000 is because yesterday, Les shared that if information did work, then all of us would be skinny, rich, and happy. The reason it was $30,000 is because it came with what I know I needed, a mentor. Coach will make the biggest difference in your life, not information. And that's why I put $30,000. And I said, I better make the money, something back before the end of the month, because I don't have the money to make the payment, the minimum payment. And I wish it was Hollywood, just on the 29th day of the month, and the deal came through. No, it took me 6 months. And yes, I had to borrow cash advance from the other card to make the minimum payment on this card just to keep going. I know nobody in this room has ever done that. No.
No, nothing.
Never. So, because the thing is that when you're committed, the only formula for success that I know, the only formula for success is called WEIT. Write that down if you don't know what it is. That is the only formula for success. It is WEIT, and it stands for whatever it takes. You do whatever it takes. And it took me 6 months before I made my first big check in real estate. It was the longest 6 months of my life. It was the longest 6 months of my life, and many times during those 6 months, I'm saying, what am I doing? Anytime I can quit and go get a job or go get work for someone. But I said, no, I'm committed to this track. And when I made the first one, and bingo, broke through it, me and my partner, within 5 years, own over 500 houses in the Tampa Bay area. And then I started teaching real estate, and I still do. And my first love is personal development, and my second love is creating financial independence through real estate, and my third is entrepreneurship, almost in that order. And from that side, and 2000, about 6 or 7, I created the Winner Circle, the mastermind. And a friend of mine, I was doing real estate seminars, and he found out that all the gurus, real estate gurus, they were all competing. And I said, why are you competing? Why don't we just get together and collaborate? And that was the first mastermind. And we built it to about 150 members, Winner Circle. That's like $15,000, $25,000 per person. And then 2008, the real estate crash. And so all the gurus sort of went on the wayside. I had to open it up to non-real estate specialty. So then just open it up for any thought leader with a specialty can join, regardless of their subject matter. In hindsight, now that has made Winner Circle better because of it is much richer now as opposed to just all real estate people. All the cruises first, everything was all real estate. Now it's completely diversified from that side. So that was, you can see it, that's Tony Robbins, literally first retirement party back in 1994. And then I just ran into Tony a few months ago over here. My personal creed, every morning, including this morning, when I wake up in the morning, my creed is to build true confidence through knowledge in the mind, honesty in the heart, and strength in the body, to keep friendship with one another, and to build a strong and happy community. Never fight to achieve selfish ends, but to develop might for right. Grandmaster Jun Rhee, one of my mentors, gave me this quote, gave me this creed, and I fell in love with every word and practice on a daily basis. And a lot has been talked about goal setting and taking care of the future. I believe not enough has been talked about taking care of today. Take care of today. Take care of today. Live every day with your daily creed. Take care of today, and tomorrow will take care of itself. Tomorrow, today is the tomorrow that you're worried about yesterday. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. And today is a gift. And that's why they call it present. So unwrap this present every day. Don't just go through the day, get from the day. And to make sure you get the most out of my presentation, the only request I have, you may know everything I share with you, but the only request I have is turn that little voice inside of you that says, I know. Because I know is the killer of learning. I know is the killer of learning. And the moment you say, I know, our learning mechanism shuts down. Because as speakers, as thought leaders, it has happened to you and me that we have listened to the same audio program, read the same book, the third or the 13th time, we've found something completely new that we missed the first dozen times. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. Yes. It has happened to all of us. And then why is it? Is because the only thing I can think about is that old saying in personal development that when the student is ready, because the first 12 times I wasn't ready. You weren't ready to listen to that message. You've listened to it a dozen times. Or I've read Think and Grow Rich earlier times. Now when I pick it up this time, I find something completely new meaning out of the same book. It's not because the book is different. It's because you're different. Yes, I'm in a different place. I've got a different set of glasses in where I am in my life. So I give it a different meaning from that side. My definition of knowing is a Zen. To know and not to do is not to know. To know and not to do is not to know. And so we have come here for Mastermind. And one of my challenges that I struggled with last night and since I've in a flight is it's like I've done over 10,000 professional presentations. It's not that I am not prepared, but I don't know. I struggle with it because I just ask for divine guidance that what can I share with the group? Because I have a limited time. What can I share with the group that will make the greatest impact? Perhaps, God, please guide me with that. And so that's why I am well prepared, but I'm changing before I get on this stage because one conversation in the breakfast room and my observation has changed. I am changing it. And from that. And so I thought that remind you is that I'm here also because we all have challenges, issues, that we've come to this thought leader group that I want to sit down with Stan. Stan would like to sit down with Eric. I want to sit down with Peter. You want to sit down with her and get some answers to my questions, whatever challenge I have. We're here because we want to get some answers. Am I correct? Yes. All of us are here looking for some answers that you don't have. If you had all the answers, there's no reason for you to come here. Right. But I'm here to remind you that while all of us are here to look for the answers, that questions are more important than the answers. Questions are more important than answers. As a matter of fact, quality of your life is the quality of your questions you ask yourself and others on a regular basis. Can you just turn the internet off? Please just turn the Wi-Fi off. And if you don't believe that, I'm sorry. By the way, if you want a copy of my slides, I'd be happy to share with you all the slides with you. So that if you miss something, don't fret. Just let me know. I'll be happy to share all the slides with you. And that he said, if I had an hour to solve a problem and my life depended on the solution, I would spend the first 55 minutes determining the proper questions to ask. For once I know the proper question, I could solve the problem in less than 5 minutes. Albert Einstein. One of the smartest people to walk this planet. I think it's good enough for Al, is good enough for me. Good old Al. You know Al, right? So, and it just hit me, the next one just hit me, why questions are more important than answers. Said, if you're asking the wrong question, the answer doesn't matter. If you're asking the wrong question, Randy Gage, a friend of mine, he's a very, very successful rags to riches story, and I went to him, and sometimes it sucks when people remind you of your own thing that you teach. I went there asking for some advice. Only advice he gave me, he goes, "You're asking the wrong questions, my friend." And he says, if you ask the wrong question, the answer doesn't matter. And how many of you failed in anything? Would you lie about other things too? If you have failed in anything in life, you have first failed in asking the right questions. You have first failed in asking the right questions. The thing that bit you is that question you forgot to ask. Quality of your life is the quality of the questions you ask yourself and others on a regular basis. And what I do, when people collect things, I collect questions. When you speak, I write down questions. I don't write down the answers. When I read a book, I collect questions. And arguably, Warren Buffett is probably one of the most successful investors alive. Am I correct? Yeah. Would it be important for you to know the two most important questions that he asks before making any investment? Yes? Yes? Do you know what questions he asks? No. So, I have no idea what investment is in front of you right now. But if you knew the two questions the most successful investors ask, that'd be a pretty good guideline for all of us. Am I correct? Yes. So before he makes any investment, he asks the question, the most important question. It is not the price. It is not the risk. It is not the timing. It is not how much money he'll make or lose. All of those are, by the way, important. It's not that he does not calculate any of those, but that's not the most important question he'll ask. The most important question he'll ask is, what is the opportunity cost? What is the opportunity cost? There's a saying that you can do anything, but not everything. For you to come to this mastermind, you had to give up not going to another mastermind. I belong. Eric made a conscious decision. We met at another mastermind, and I shared with you that anything good and great that has happened to my life is a direct, not indirect result of a mastermind. Every mastermind, if you have a mastermind, chances are I will pay you to join your mastermind. And I joined another one. That's what I met Eric. And Once he told me what his goal, what he's looking for, I said, I need to introduce you to another tribe that I just met. And this week, right now, as we speak, is the other mastermind happening. So we made a conscious decision to be here, not there. Well, the most important, what is the opportunity cost? And I don't care whatever your political view about Donald Trump is, but before, arguably he's one of the most successful real estate investors, am I correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Before he makes any investment, as a matter of fact, before he makes any major decision, including his current, he asks 2 questions. Would that be, it was in his book, The Art of the Deal. And I don't remember anything from the book, but these 2 questions are my takeaways. That before he takes any major endeavor, the 2 questions that he asked the same question before he ran for president. The first question that he asks is, what is the worst that can happen? Well, it has already happened. No, just kidding. What is the worst thing that can happen? And the second question is, can I live with it? Can I live with it? Chances are, if you can live with the worst outcome, anything else is gravy. Anything else is gravy. If there was, coming to this, if Eric had made a decision that he's deciding whether to come here or not, and he said, no, it's my son's birthday. And by the way, look at it, I invited him, I'm doing another mastermind next month in Tampa Bay, and I've invited him to come as my guest. And he said, no, I'm having my sons that weekend. That's more important. Can I live with it? Yes, no. The decision is very clear. I'm not coming to your mastermind. Because I cannot live with myself to tell my kids that, hey, I can't be with you and go to another seminar, another mastermind, another event. He works hard enough that he says, I make a commitment, they're my priority. So whatever happens, this is the 2 questions. You know the single question, no, go ahead.
We only got one question from Warren Buffett.
Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, there was one question. What is the opportunity cost?
Okay, so
Sorry. The most important question he asked. He asked the risk question he asked, all the other questions he asked, but the most important question he asked is, what is the opportunity cost?
Awesome, thanks.
And the question that created Google. There's one question that created the most successful company in the world right now. The question was, how can we organize the entire knowledge body of the world in one place? Isn't that what Google is? Anything you and I want to know today, the question to life is one word. Google. And so this is the question. And also, regardless of, whatever your moral question is, the 4 most important question of business ethics. This is the most widely circulated 4 questions on business ethics on the planet. That whenever you're ready for your organization, your family, any large or small, you're ready to set out a policy, if you want to know if it passed through the litmus test of 4 questions of business ethics, number 1 is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Number 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And number 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? If it passes, the answer is yes, it's ready to be disseminated. If not, if it's only good for the shareholders, not good for the community, if it's not, how can we do that? So this is a litmus test. I'm not here to give you the answers. I'm here to give you the questions for you to look for. What are the most important questions? Questions are more important than answers. And most powerful questions from a 10-year-old boy. I call this goosebump moment for me. I have a friend in Tampa Bay, he's a pilot. And when his son was, he said, could barely walk and talk, he lives literally on an island next to his private airport. He said he would go flying. The kid would just come and say, Daddy, can I go flying with you? And his wife is so scared. And she said, I ain't letting you go kill yourself. I'm not letting my son go on this single engine prop, plane. And this kid tried everything, every trick in the book, and nothing worked. So when he was 10 years old, his Saturday morning, he's about to go flying. The kid runs to him and says, Daddy, Daddy, Mommy said I can go flying. He goes, Mommy said you can go flying. And he said, guess who I need to find that out from? Yes. So he was shocked. So he walked back inside and said, honey, did you tell him he could go flying with me? She did not even look up. She looked down and she said, yes. He said, I'm curious. I saw this kid try every trick in the book, cry, throw tantrum. Every time, nothing worked. What changed? She said, he asked me a question. And I couldn't live with myself. Nothing worked except this question. Why should your fears be my fears?
Wow.
How many of you have kids? In the name of protecting our children, sometimes do we also give them our bad with our good? Because was his mother's intention good? What was his mother's intention? To protect. But in the name of protection, is she not doing harm? So realize that questions are the answers. Questions are the answers. And what I call power questions to transform your life. Power questions to transform your life is, who got me started in this path to asking questions is my first mentor, Tony Robbins. He gave me morning questions. He gave me power problem questions. He gave me evening questions. And we had this set of questions. And every morning, I had these questions laminated in my shower. I don't have to, because now it has become second nature. But in order to create that, every morning, by the way, that's another whole thing that I talk about. It's called inevitability thinking, not positive thinking. Your life will change if you start putting inevitability thinking, not positive thinking. If inevitability thinking is the most advanced that I know in the personal development arena. Inevitability thinking is exactly what it says. Whatever that you want, it's inevitable. It's a foregone conclusion that you're going to get it because you've set up conditions along the way for it to happen. That's inevitability thinking. Yes, if you go right now and say, hey, I want to ask morning questions, it ain't going to happen tomorrow. It may happen tomorrow, next week. It's not going to happen the following month because you haven't set up conditions. There's one place I know that I'm going to set up conditions is in the morning I can go to my shower. I cannot escape it. It's like same in a very simple way. All of you do inevitability thinking, but not consciously in everything, is that if you have an important paper to take for your meeting tomorrow morning, and you put your car keys with the important paper, with the briefcase, so that you don't forget. That's inevitability thinking. That that paper is going with you. Or you put the paperwork in the car now. So you know it's going to happen. So what are the examples of morning questions? Every morning you wake up and to ask, what's great about today? What am I most grateful for? What am I most passionate about that I'm working on right now? And my sister has an autistic child. I remember how incredibly, she's the most loving and caring person on this planet. and how challenging it is for her to give that kid, because he's getting bigger, to give him a bath. And when I say sometimes, I promise you also is that you say, what's great about today? If you're human, someday the answer is, F and nothing. You feel like, when the answer is like that, I just remind myself, look at, I am standing. I have every limbs intact. And I think of my sister, and I say, oh my God, I don't have any problem. I don't have any problem. Somebody said that if money can solve your problem, it is not a problem, it's a temporary inconvenience. If money and most of our problems that we have, 90% of it, if not all of it, money can solve. So there are problems money cannot solve. We have poured enough money in Iraq, and I think it's not solving the problem. It is exacerbated because the issues are the wrong issues that they're attacking. So the whole set of morning questions. Then there are problem questions. What is a problem question? Is if you don't train yourself when you're in the middle of a problem, your mind will not ask you those questions, because one of the questions whenever there is a challenge is, what's great about it? What's great about it? Because I can promise you, I can poll each and every one of you right now, and the answer will be yes, that every time you had a big challenge in your life, how many of you think that was a blessing in disguise? That was a stepping stone for another greater opportunity, that you shouldn't be going that direction. It was life trying to stop you. Universe trying to say, don't go. And you didn't listen. So you'd have to put the hammer down. And what's great about it? Now is the time to ask. Another question I ask is, what's funny about it? What's funny about it? Because when you're in the middle of it, but how many of you have said this one statement, you can finish it, that someday we'll look back and laugh about it. If you're going to do that someday, why not now? Because the sooner you can laugh about it, is the sooner that thing no longer has an emotional grip on you. You are free. You will need a constellation workshop to get rid of it. You can have humor if you can find the irony of it. I'm incredibly grateful to the people that went before me. What Martin shared yesterday, what Gary shared yesterday, what you shared in our mastermind, Lisa, has impacted me. And everything that's happening, I said that here, I'm just surrendering myself to the leaders, to Teresa, with total trust. I have faith she will not misguide me. As a matter of fact, she will always do what is right for me. And she's such a loving, caring soul, is that if she comes to you, she's giving you advice, it's first and foremost not for her, it's for you. Because she cares that if there's a negative impact because of you, it's you that's going to be affected. She'll be fine. She'll come to you and she'll say, and anytime you praise in public, you criticize in private. Because you have no idea how that person will take it. So she has all those qualities in her. And the problem is whenever there's a challenge, you find out these questions, and evening questions. I have evening questions. One of my highest values is learning. And one of the questions I ask every day is, what have I learned today? What have I learned today? My 8th grade teacher instilled that habit in me. He said, every day, before you go to bed, ask yourself, what have I learned today? He goes, if you can't think of anything, open the dictionary, learn one new word before you go to bed. Because Dr. Leo Buscaglia, how many of you know Dr. Leo Buscaglia? He's known as the love doctor. He used to be known as the love doctor. His Italian immigrant parents used to say that it's a sin to wake up as ignorant as you were the day before. It's a sin to wake up as ignorant as you were the day before. Every day, learn something new. Because if you have kids, if you play this game with your kids, this one game I play, I'm calling my kids from Costa Rica. Question I ask, what have you learned today? And the first, there are these, I have 3 girls, 12, 14, and 18. They're smart ass. Nothing, and nothing. Then they see the question doesn't change. Yes, they're kids. The question does not change. Then they go, I know he's going to ask me. So their mind starts looking. Their mind starts looking. And maybe they will not even do it, but it will stick to them. When they are old enough, they go, hey, I remember him asking me these questions no matter every time. What have I learned today? And another question I ask in the evening is, in what ways have I been a giver today? In what ways have I been a giver today? You don't have to do seminars. If you just held the door for someone, if you're driving in the traffic and you let someone in, that nobody is letting that person in, and you are the one that's kind enough to let them in, and all they did is in the rearview mirror, they just waved at you, and you saw, and you just acknowledged, you have no idea you changed somebody's life that day. What the ripple effect is that you just made that person come in. Every day, I had my evening questions. I had it taped on the lampshade of the hotel room, because I'm on the road, so that I know the last thing I will do is turn what? And it's staring at me. So I have to answer those questions. Inevitability thinking. I don't have to do that now, because it's ingrained in me. I don't need the questions. So what I've done, by the way, I told you I collect questions. I find humor in questions. If a deaf person has to go to court, is it still called a hearing? Think about it. If a deaf person has to go to a court, is it still called a hearing? How is it that we put a man on the moon before we figured out it'd be a good idea to put wheels on luggage? Those of us who traveled before wheels, remember we had to go to chiropractor every time? We had to carry those bags. Why did they use sterilized needles for death by lethal injection? What disease did cured him actually? This morning would be a waste of my time and yours if it was just entertainment and awareness, if you don't take action. So here's your action items. Write down your morning empowering questions. Write down your empowering questions for evenings, and write down your questions for problems. I know that these 3 categories, there are many others, but if you just implement in your life these 3 categories of questions, it'll make a significant impact in your life. And if you play that game with your kids, you'll impact their lives as well. And what I'm going to do for you guys is I say that I collect questions. So what I've done is, my gift to you guys is this. It's like the spark plug, because to get you started, I wrote a book called Questions Are the Answers. Would you like a copy of that?
Yes.
So this book is nothing but a compilation of my morning questions, my evening questions, my problem questions, because what I have found is life, every situation is nothing but a series of questions. Every process that you do can be boiled down to a series of questions. So I've collected those questions, so this will be a good reference book for you. And if you don't have any morning questions, take mine. It's okay. And then start, if you don't like my question, or you only like one, discard the other 4 and add your own. If not, keep all 4, put it up. But do something. And wherever I am, I have things to share. Wherever my time is up, I will stop to continue. And this one is really, I think, the answer for me and all of you is gain clarity. Do whatever you have to do. Gain clarity. When I talk about clarity, I'm talking about like crystal clear clarity. Thank you. And this, because right, you can write this down. Clarity is power. As a matter of fact, lack of clarity is the root of all failures. Lack of clarity is the root of all failures. I believe, in a way, when Martin is coming, he's talking, by the way, I thank you for the book recommendation. Sometimes all it takes is that to change your life. And when somebody recommends a book, these days I don't wait. Right sitting there, I went to the Surrender Experience and download the audiobook. And I download the audiobook, and if I like the audiobook, then I buy the book. If I don't like the audiobook, I don't even bother buying it. And then, because we have this flight, and I can probably finish the book before I leave here. And every day, I also do a book report. I have a company here in Costa Rica that has hired me. Every morning, I do a 10-minute motivational, inspirational talk for them, and they broadcast it to about 45 countries. And so I love that because it keeps me the discipline of every day, no matter where I am in the world, I have to prepare for that. It's a discipline. And so when somebody refers me to a new book, I get so excited. I said, wow, I will find my next content from that book. Or I share with what's going to happen here right now. My point is with Martin is that although he's surrendering, he's gaining clarity. The things that are showing up in his life, oh my God, the money, just an account, I got a speaking engagement right there, just enough money for me to go there, come back, and have some money left over. It's because you have to tell the universe, set the intention of what is it that you want. Otherwise, why would the universe deliver? And more clear the intention, more clear you are about what is it you want, the faster it will manifest. That you'll see those coincidences I find, like I love that we're having breakfast with Colonel, and he was saying that I picked up from Les yesterday, that coincidences are God's way of remaining what? Anonymous. So this coincidence that Martin is creating, it's not coincidence, it's the infinite intelligence of the universe. It's stop figuring out how, spend time on gaining clarity of what is it that you want, and then surrender to the infinite universe. And I believe it's their job to figure out the how.
I think you're so absolutely right. And another big point of clarity is clarity of letting your limitations go.
So it boils down to clarity. And I give an example of clarity from, so I love, like, it's like every time I hear, I want to go to Lisa's boot camp, Lisa's for designing your destiny, because it will give me more clarity. Perhaps the question that she's going to give me, I haven't asked it. So I want to go there for that one. I want to go to Gary so that I can gain that much more clarity about how is my past holding me back. I didn't realize that's even a possibility. He just brought that up, did not realize. And some of the examples that he shared with me and the result that he's created remotely and some of the people that I know personally, it's nothing short of miraculous. They're saying money is showing up. They're about to go bankrupt. Their last dollars from last $500, they gave it to him. And then calling back in 6 months, saying that he's at the New York Stock Exchange, about to ring the bell for an IPO in 6 months. This does not happen with no amount of effort. Effortless ease. Because you just got rid of things from your life and basically yourself. You're the obstacle, just move it and stay clear. And I'll give you the example of clarity. Some of you have heard me. It's one thing is, every day, the 2 topics that I study, that are my favorite topics to study every day, is wealth and happiness. Wealth and happiness are the 2 things that I study every single day, because I believe, this is where the 2 feel that the world suffers. And one of the reasons they don't have, or if they don't have how much they want to desire, is because of lack of clarity. It's lack of clarity. And so money is the biggest symbol of wealth. And arguably, no matter what we have or don't have in common, one thing we all have in common in this room, and chances are everybody that's working in this resort, we all want more money. Am I correct? Am I correct?
Yes.
Anybody here not want more money? You can give me your excess. Okay, Martin, I'll take it. It's because if you want more money, please humor me. Humor me. What is money? Money is energy, great.
Currency. Currency.
Money is currency.
Store of value.
Store of value, Nicole. Access.
Exchange.
Exchange.
It's a resource.
Opportunity. Resources. Huh? Resources. Every one of those are the right answer, except to the wrong question. The question that you answered to me is what money does. I did not ask you what money does. Or I did not ask you what's the role of money, what the function of money. I asked you what is money. If you have children, you have to explain to them what is money. And by the way, let me also explain what I mean by that you don't understand something. If I ask you right now that can you please explain to me how does electricity work, wherever somewhere way far, someplace it's generated, how is it generated, and how does it come to this room? If you cannot explain to me that whole thing, then you don't understand what electricity is. Am I correct? But that does not mean you don't know how to turn on the switch and enjoy all the benefit of electricity. That's a different thing. But if you understand electricity, you will never ever be at the adverse effect of electricity. Because electricity can kill. But you will never get killed if you know how electricity works, because you know how to not be into the adverse effect. It is amazing to me. It is amazing to me that I travel all over the world. I ask this one simple question about what is money, and in every country, every culture, they all want more of whatever pesos or dollars or yen that they want more of it, but they cannot explain to me what is money. If this was a gold bullion, and you don't know what a gold bullion is it possible that I will walk past by and never pick it up? Every single time. Every single time. I will never pick it up. Why should money come to you when you can't tell me even what it is? I think that it is amazing to me how fast opportunities coming to me financially once you understand how you manifest. And that's not your primary goal. And I do this whole thing is that every day I study money and I study happiness. And the business is a subset of money. So I study that. So I promise you also that you'll never have to, if I tell you what money is, I don't want a PhD definition of money. I want a definition of money that before you get up from that chair, right now you're sitting there, before you stand up, once I tell you what it is, you'll have the ability to make more. Just by knowing what it is. Is that raising the bar pretty high?
Yeah.
Yeah? How many want to know now what it is?
Yeah.
It's that level of clarity I'm talking about. That the world does not know, but you'll know. And I will tell you also, I never had to explain to anyone so far, because I speak primarily to an educated group, twice. Because once I tell you, you'll realize it will resonate with you that I'm telling you the truth. Here it is. Money is an idea backed by confidence. Money is simply an idea backed by confidence. So if you want more money, you need more of what? Confidence. Think about it. Every situation, anything that you want from anyone in this room, they give you money because they have the confidence that you're going to give them the result that you are looking for. As a matter of fact, for con man, that is the only weapon they have. That is the only thing. Why would anybody give any money to a con man? Because they project what? Confidence. The difference is that they don't give it to you. But if you deliver, and that's the same influence, And it's not, what I call is, it's not that one time you're going to hear right now and all of a sudden it's going to manifest. You have to internalize it. That I call the 4 a.m. test. That if in the middle of your deepest coma, if I wake you up and I said, what is money? And you wake up and you say, it's money is an idea backed by confidence. That's when you know it, you've internalized it. And then before you go to every presentation, before you go to everything, and you're just conscious that how do I project confidence? And people will pay you. It has nothing to do with you have any money or anything else. People will come to you. And this is the only thing. I am in some, how many of you been to some incredible, you're in a room with people that are in your thing, you're thinking that, oh my God, these people are way above my league. And I'm going, what am I doing here? If that thought, you're there because you somewhere, somehow, you projected confidence and somebody invited that you need to be here. You got that invitation because they did not look at your bank balance. You were in the room, my dear, with 8 millionaires is because you're one of them. I don't care what the others, they have not seen your bank balance. They don't know it. That means you're ready. You're ready. And from that particular side, you really don't want money. What you really want is financial freedom. That's what you want. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yes.
That's what you want. So please tell me, what is financial freedom?
Ability to make choices without constraints.
Okay, ability to make choices. What else? What is financial freedom?
Being able to do what I want to do when I want to do it.
Okay, I was just waiting for that one. Because what I call this is seminar answers. And yes?
I'm going to take a step. I'm going to say your expenses are lower than your reserves.
I'm going to give you 4 words. I want to give you 4 words that will explain. Because if you say these choices, I want to do whenever I want, whatever I want, with whomever I want, as much as I want, and I cannot deal with 10 definitions from 10 people. I want 1. I'm going to give you 4 words that will spell financial freedom for all of you in this room and outside. Will that be a pretty good clarity?
Yeah.
If I can explain your financial freedom with 4 words, that's the level of clarity I'm talking about in anything you do. 4 words is very simple. Residual income exceeding expenses. Write that down. 4 words is residual income exceeding expenses. Because when your residual income is greater than your expenses, you no longer have to work and thus become financially free. And the goal is residual income, not linear income. Because then you're not financially free. Because residual income is income that continues to be generated after an initial investment of time, money, and effort, compared to linear income where you get paid one time for work performed. That's the difference. Every one of us, we should teach people to earn residual income. And you can work for linear income, but then have your money invest your money to produce passive income. And keep doing what you're doing, and then have passive income so that should you choose not to work, then your lifestyle is still maintained. People ask me what my goal in life is. Really, my goal in life is very simple. To do things because I want to, not because I have to. That's the end of story. And so to live life with those terms are pretty incredible. So 2 ways I want to end today with this concept is that this is a realization, because everybody is in the path to creating financial independence. It's a philosophical thing, is that you can become rich by having more than you need or needing less than you have. If you simplify your life, you'll become financially free a lot sooner, a lot less stressful.
Absolutely.
And goes back to this kind of, you can become very simple. All you have to do is take your fingers and go like this. No, just go surrender. But that may not be your path. But know this too. If somebody makes $1 million and spends $1,000,001 versus somebody who makes $5,000 and spends $4,000, who's financially free? The former or the latter? The latter. Because they don't have any stress. They've just minimized all of that. And I'm going to finish today that the quality of your life in the end is the quality of your relationship. The quality of your end, in the end of your life, is the quality of your relationship. And when people are focused on, in business, measuring, figuring out the funnels and leads and contacts, they manage all of those. What I do is I manage relationships and friendships. And that has paid all the dividends for me in my life. And no matter what is it that you do, some people will always doubt you, but don't change your course. Because they'll eventually know that you really don't. I will keep on inviting Eric. I've invited him before. This is not the first time. I've invited him before. It didn't matter. If nothing lined up for him. He was ready this time. And because it's not he was ready, it's because she made him ready. It's the best thing that has happened to him. No. I know him as a dear friend. So they're now collected and together. So the secret to living really, really, really is giving. Secret to living is giving. Like Winston Churchill say that you make a living by what you get, but you make a life by what you give. And every single day, if you live with your life with those questions, and when you invest in yourself, when you invest in anyone, anything in this room or outside of this room, you're going to get those investment money back, hopefully tenfold, hundredfold. But when you've given me your time this morning, you've given me a part of your life. No matter what I do, I can never repay that. So I never take it for granted. I respect you for that, and I thank you for that special gift. Whatever you do in life, I wish you all the absolute best. God bless you all, and thank you for letting me be here.